Hi everyone, and welcome to this instructional video that covers how to fill out the Baseline Service Line Inventory Submission Form. The submission form can be found in the ANR Online portal following the link in the description down below. Links to most service line related forms can be found in the Drinking Water and Groundwater Protection Division's Service Line Inventory website, which will also be linked below. Once you've signed into ANR Online, you can search for the form using the search bar. The form is titled Baseline Service Line Inventory Submission Form. Once you have reached the form, review the instructions. When you are ready, enter the WSID for the water system that you are submitting the inventory for. For this example, we'll use 20567. Click on the number that appears and click on Begin Form Entry. The first section contains the water system information, which we'll pre-fill based on the water system ID that you entered in the instruction page. The section pre-fills with the WSID, the water system name, the email of the designated operator that we have on file, as well as the email of the administrative contact that we have on file. Note that when the service line inventory is approved, the operator and the administrative contact will be copied in the approval email. It is important that if the information above does not match your records, you verify that you've typed in the right WSID in the instruction page, or you reach out to your lead and copper rule manager. You will next enter the name of the person that completed the inventory. In this case, we'll do DEC personnel. And you can also enter the name of the organization or business that you belong to, but this is completely optional. Last, you will enter the date of service line inventory creation, which will be important to accurately log the latest service line numbers for this water system. You can either click on the little calendar to choose the date. You could type in the date with this format, or you can click on the Today button. Note that dates in the future will be flagged as errors. The next set of questions are regarding the baseline service line inventory that you are submitting. You will need to enter the total number of service lines, the total number of non-lead service lines, the total number of unknown service lines, the total number of galvanized recurrent replacement or GRR service lines, and the total number of lead service lines from the inventory file that you want to submit. To find this information, open the baseline service line inventory file that you're trying to submit. Go to the summary sheet, which is that very first tab in the Excel file, and review the inventory totals table to transcribe the numbers into the ANR Online form. Please keep in mind that these ANR Online numbers are the ones directly reported to the EPA, so it is very important that the numbers that you type in the ANR Online form match the numbers in your inventory so that they are reported correctly. In this case, it sounds like we have 717 total number of service lines, 381 non-lead, 314 unknown, 18 galvanized, and 4 lead. So with that information, you'll go back to your ANR Online form and enter those numbers in the corresponding boxes. Once you've entered the number of service lines, you can continue to scroll down to the connector information. Here you will provide connector information much in the same way that you've provided your service line information. You will need to enter the number of non-lead connectors, lead connectors, unknown connectors, and the number of addresses with no connector present. Like with the service line numbers, you can go back to your service line inventory, and in the inventory totals table, you will find a breakdown of the connector materials within your inventory. In this case, it looks like we have 322 non-lead and 395 unknown connectors. Again, these ANR Online numbers are the ones directly reported to the EPA, so it is very important that the numbers that you type in the ANR Online form match the numbers in your inventory. Once you're confident that all the numbers match, you can move on to the next section, where you will have a chance to attach the service line inventory file. For this section, you can either drag and drop the file directly into the box, or you can click on Choose File, which will allow you to browse your computer's files to attach the correct file. For this example, I will just drag and drop the file into the square, and you'll see that the file name appears right at the bottom, indicating that the upload was successful. The next question asks if the inventory has been made publicly accessible to water system users. According to the London Copper Rule improvements, the most up-to-date service line inventory must be posted on the water system website or use another method to make it accessible to the public, either by mail or available at the water system's town office, etc. If you select yes, a pop-up will appear where you can explain where and how the inventory was made publicly accessible. If you select no, a warning message appears explaining the requirement. So for this example, we'll say yes, and we will explain that it was posted on town website. At the end, you'll have the option to include any comments, thoughts, or any relevant information that you want the division to know as we're reviewing and approving the inventory. Once you're satisfied with the form, you can click Next Section. The last section is the review process, where you'll get the opportunity to review the form to confirm the form is populated completely and accurately prior to the certification and submission. Again, this is a great opportunity to ensure that the service line and connector numbers you have entered are an exact match to the ones that are reported in the service line inventory Excel file that you have attached to this submission. Once you're satisfied with the form, you can go to Next Section, which is the Certified and Submit section. In this section, you will digitally sign the form and submit it. For the purpose of this example and because I'm an internal user, I can skip the signature portion and I can submit the form. You can click on View Submission, which will take you to the submission page where you can check the form status and even submit corrections if they're requested. If you submit the form successfully, you will receive an email confirming the submission. The division will review the inventory and approve it if all of the minimum requirements are met, at which point the submitter, you, the designated operator, and the administrative contact will receive an approval letter. This is the end of the instructional video. If you have any questions or concerns about the service line inventory and/or the submission form, please reach out to the compliance section. Thank you.